I'm going to have a look at two books today. They're both by the same author and they're both published by Search Press. Now, first of all, we have Drawing a Complete Guide. This was published in 2009. It has 440 pages and it brings together several titles that were previously published individually. Now, this is an A4 size and it has 64 pages. Now, this is my favourite of the books. I have a few of them. Now, this other one here, Drawing a Complete Guide, is slightly larger than A5. Now, with the individual titles, you don't have any information on actually drawing, you just have information on the subject. So if you're looking for a complete guide, this book starts off with the drawing techniques. And it has drawing portraits, drawing the clothed figure, drawing hands and feet, drawing scenery, drawing light and shade, and the nude. So if you're completely new to drawing, this has some information on pen, graphite, pencil, charcoal. So everything is black and white. We have no colour in this book, and it has written information, but it doesn't have like sort of step-by-step guides on how to do things. So a lot depends on whether you can just sort of look at the illustrations and then, you know, make your choices. So this is very much a traditional type drawing book rather than a step-by-step guide, although we do have, I think if I can find it, we do have here drawing a portrait with lots of information on lighting and everything, and we have a method here, so we do have some stages here on how to draw a portrait. We got that for a few of the little demonstrations, but I thought I would have a little look at hands and feet because this is my favourite one of the titles. So drawing hands and feet, so we have the same introduction that's in hands and feet. One thing I have to point out is I do find it quite difficult that the print is quite tiny, so if you've got visual problems this could be a problem for you. But we have here tools and techniques, practical advice, and then we have the simplified form. So this is where I'll just pull out the other book and just show you. I have a page here marked. This is a really old book. It feels really old. It's quite yellow on the edges. But on the simplified form, we have here the feet. You just see some lovely pictures. For myself, I much prefer the larger format book. I find it's quite hard to see the lines and the details on some of these illustrations. So you can see this is where the larger format book really comes into its own. And then I think the anatomy is amazing in these books. Again, if you want a slightly larger picture, you can see the detail here for the anatomy. So I think I'm just going to put this book to one side for a minute while we have a little flick through the hands and feet. Now, why I'm showing you this section is I actually think this is my favourite book from this actual author. We have so much detail on hands and feet. We've got the different muscles. And again, I really do prefer the larger format and the larger print. But you can see the information in here. But you do have to be able to read what the author is saying and then study the actual illustrations. But the hands and feet is such a wonderfully detailed guide. I really do like it. So I just wanted to show you, you know, so you could have an idea of what's in the books, the amount of detail you get. And I've got a marker in this page. I don't have the equivalent book for this. This is scenery, but I do find, especially with scenery, some of the illustrations are really not that clear. And I know the actual publisher has had to work with the older artworks that they were provided with. But I do find that the scenery one is not so easy to read. Again, drawing light and shade, I think is a really great one. We have a lot of stuff in here on drawing light and shade, some wonderful illustrations. So there we go. I do think as well slightly, the only thing with light and shade that I found in this one is the tonal key and tonal contrast. The rose is quite pale, and these illustrations are a lot lighter than in the original book. So that's something to be aware of. Now, if you're getting a book on drawing for a younger person, I really think they would prefer a modern contemporary guide. But if you are happy to sit and read through a book like this, I think there is some wonderful information in it. It is really useful, it's really helpful, but it's not a modern contemporary book, so it is personal choice. But just be aware with the smaller version that the print is quite tiny and some of the illustrations are paler than in the A4 books, so it is a personal choice for you.